Welcome back to the Citizens Fancast. As always, I'm Evan, and I apologize for no episode 2 weeks ago. Had some sound issues. I double-checked this week, and there's no sound issues this week. So as long as you can hear this, obviously there was no sound issues. So thank you for tuning in. I apologize for the lack of episodes. Part of it's been the international breaks. I don't like doing episodes during those because it just kind of seems like a waste. There's not a ton of topics. I can't even watch the majority of the international games anymore. They switched the coverage from ESPN to Fox for most of them, and Fox shows one, maybe two games if I'm lucky a day, honestly. And that's, if I'm not busy or whatever. I don't really schedule my time around international games because it's not worth it. They're friendlies or just games that don't matter in general. So for the most part, when there's an international break, I'm probably just going to take the week off for future reference just because it's not worth my time. I mean, if I got something good to talk about, I will. But other than that, not too much. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I apologize for the lack of episodes. I've just been between figuring out moving and everything like that. I'm finally set up. If you're watching on video, you can see the setup here. I finally got everything going. But other than that, I'm feeling good. It's finally good to be settled in for now until I move again, which unfortunately will probably be happening soon. But that's a topic for a different day. Not today. Not really city related. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Obviously, I missed the last episode. I missed a ton of episodes, but just covering Brighton and then previewing next week, and then that'll be the format for a couple weeks until we hit another international break, unfortunately. So I apologize if you've been looking for these episodes and you don't follow me on Twitter, don't have Twitter or X, whatever it is now. Just sorry, I don't have a way to post to Spotify as far as I know to say, hey, no recording this week. So if you've been looking for the episodes, they haven't been there. I apologize. But we're here today. Got a good topic to talk about. Obviously, City, like always. So always a good topic with when they play a match, and even a better topic when they win. So obviously, Brighton on Saturday. Lineup was a little out of the ordinary, if you ask me and most people. But obviously, we got the win, right? 2-1. And is just an important 3 points. Some people were panicking and freaking out last week or 2 weeks ago. And if the episode would have had sound, as I would have said in that one, we're fine. We're okay. It's going to be okay. We're really just not in that bad of a scenario, and we're going to be all right. So not the end of the world that we lost a couple matches. Obviously, we have the Arsenal fans that were acting however they were going to act, and they're going to continue to act like that. They acted like they won the league and then get lucky against Chelsea and get a draw, and we're right back on top of them. So just small club mentality, in all honesty. So we got bigger fish to fry, and we truck on and we keep on moving. So Brighton lineup, obviously, not the Brighton lineup, the lineup for us against Brighton. Ederson and Diaz out of the lineup. Two main things for me. I was a little more concerned, honestly, about Diaz being out than Ederson, just because Diaz has such a good track record with it feels like last year's when we really turned it around is when he started playing games more consistently. So with him out of the lineup made me a little nervous. Like I said, I trust Ortega. Obviously, he started in goal with Ederson out, but it's a little... I trust Ederson more than anybody, but we have a really, really good backup, and that's plain and simple what we have. So Ortega in goal for the starting lineup. Walker, Akanji, Guardiola, Stones, Rodri, Foden, Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, Julian Alvarez, and Haaland, of course. Obviously, Haaland up top. So starting lineup, subs that came on throughout the game. Diaz on for Stones, Grealish came in for Doku, and Ake came in for Alvarez. So the big thing with that is I don't think Ake necessarily sees minutes if Akanji doesn't get a red card, and I'll dive into that a little bit more later. But as far as the other subs, I think Stones, it's just he gave a good run and wasn't probably in a position to play a full 90. So Diaz in for him to kind of finish it off. And we had allowed a goal at that point as well, just to kind of firm up our defense and everything. And then as similar as Grealish and Doku are, they're just different. You know, they're both able to possess and maintain the ball, but Grealish does it with a little less pace. And Doku's more that one-on-one where I feel like Grealish is a little more of like hold-up play. So a little bit of a difference there. Again, not arguing between the two of them. Both great players, happy whenever they play, whoever's playing. So 54% possession in the game for us at the end. And then the 2 goals came in the 7th minute from Alvarez with an assist from Jeremy Doku. And then the second goal came in the 19th minute from Holland with maybe an assist from Bernardo Silva. I don't know if he was actually officially credited with the assist or not. Won the ball from the defense, and Holland with a tap in, as normal, as all his haters would say, a tap in from 23 yards out. So back on the score sheet. Again, no time to panic, right? But just back to Doku, you know, it's that pace and that one-on-one ability, and that's what created the first goal. So his ability to take on Milner one-on-one, beat him, and then the cut back to Alvarez for the goal. And if you play FIFA, or now EAFC, because apparently the name of everything has to change, kind of a standard goal there. I mean, if you play Ultimate Team at all, you kind of know that's a lot of times the best way to score. So if you didn't know that, there's a little secret, and if I'm doing something wrong, then I guess there's some bad advice from me. But kind of a textbook goal from EA FC or FIFA. I'm going to call it FIFA, in all honesty. Same thing as the X and Twitter thing. It's always going to be what it is. But just Doku had such a strong game, right? You know, he was the one-on-ones, and I actually saw his match rating after the game, and in my opinion, he was man of the match. But his match rating didn't necessarily reflect that, just based off of the source that I use. He didn't have that great of a match rating, but for me, him and Foden were just incredible. Just the dribbling one-on-one and just ability to take players on and have the close control and stuff like that is just incredible from both of them. So, you know, when you have 2 players like that, if there was a way to add Grealish in, it would be unstoppable. I mean, you got Bernardo Silva who can do the same thing. You know, it's just that close control and the ability to dribble that really kind of separates them from other players. And you know, Doku just has so much speed. And, I mean, like I said, Milner was forced to be subbed off at half because he could not keep up with Doku. So I was pretty entertained with that. Not a huge James Milner fan. I understand he played for City, but not a James Milner fan here. So it's just the speed at which Doku does it, and it's kind of like you see the players just give him the ball and kind of just step back, right? I feel like that happens a lot of times where he gets the ball and they just are like, do your thing. And I like the trust, but I do feel like there's times where he could use a little bit of a support system. I know you're going to back him in all those scenarios just to take on a player, but it just feels like at times we give him the ball and it's like, go make something happen. And it worked in this match, and it'll work in other matches, but there's times where it won't work. So we'll see if he ends up starting against United. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's hard. It depends what Pep wants to go out with. Personally, for that one, I think I would start Grealish, in all honesty, but I'm not in charge. Pep is. He knows what he's doing. So, you know, it's just... And another thing about Doku is he's not afraid to shoot, and I love that about him. You know, I feel like there's times where Grealish is a little afraid to shoot, and I don't know if that's a confidence thing or what. He has the ability to do it 100%. But if Doku can get those top corner shots that he tries to curl into the top corner, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable. I mean, he's got the speed and the skill and the ability to create space for himself and to create opportunities for others, but it's those quick cuts to the side where he's able to, you know, create himself a little bit of space and then get that shot off. If he can just get those shots a little more under control and a little lower, he's going to be an incredible and unstoppable player. So looking forward for that to happen. And another big thing, said it in the starting lineup, Stones was back in his normal John Stones role, as I call it. I don't know if anyone else calls it that, but it's his role, right? The kind of just stepping up into the midfield in possession and kind of creating a little more space for our other midfielders to move forward and whatnot, and create a little bit of possession back in line with Rodri. So I did see when he came off that Akanji took up that role. If he wasn't in that role, he might not have gotten the red card. But again, I'm not ready to talk about that part yet. But Stones did really well. He's not afraid to take up space anywhere, and just for him to come back and be in rhythm immediately kind of just shows the kind of professional he is. The ability to be out for that long, his first match really for us, and just to be able to come out and step right in as if he never left. It's good to see, in all honesty. So happy to have him back. I would expect him to continue to start games as long as he doesn't have any injury setbacks. I feel like his hamstrings are made of tissue paper, I swear, because it's just they have too many issues. So obviously not something he can control. So hopefully he just stays healthy, because he's going to be very pivotal for us moving forward. Another point I have written down here from the game, just something I noticed, is that Ortega is not Ederson, and there's a lot of keepers who think they're Ederson and they're not. Saw it in the Chelsea game. It's just the thing with Ortega is he's a great goalkeeper, but he's got to improve with his passing with his feet. In all honesty, it's going to be a little critical here, and all just because I don't like to get on players, but constructive criticism, and it just bothers me a little bit that he's not at the level I feel like he should be with his feet. A lot of giveaways. It didn't come back to bite us, but if there's games where he is playing, it could. So not going to harp on it too much. We won. It's not a big deal, but it's something I'd like to see out of him to improve, to be able to not give the ball away so much. It's kind of why what we have the keepers that can play it out of the back, is so we don't give the ball away like that, right? Another note that I have written down here, there was a point in the first half, Foden gets shoved in the back, tries to keep his balance, he doesn't get a call, and when he eventually does go down, because he did lose his balance, and the ref doesn't call anything, right? That is why you see players that are flopping. Everyone loves to, and especially fans of other sports, really here in America, it bothers the absolute fuck out of me. No apologies for the language. You know who I am. Whatever. It bothers me so much that these people say that, football players, they flop, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. I get there's players that do flop. But the refs also encourage it to an extent, because you have players who, in these scenarios like this, will try to stay on their feet, and then when they don't necessarily lose their advantage by, they end up going down or whatever, and then the ref doesn't make the call. So in these scenarios, it's like you're not rewarding the player who did still get fouled. You're not rewarding them for attempting to stay honest and make a genuine attempt to go after the ball. But, if a player flops or whatever, everyone's like, oh, it's a flop. But yeah, because you didn't call it. And that's why, because you can't just always, if it's a foul, it's a foul. It doesn't matter if the player tried staying on their feet or something like that. There's no rule that the player has to go to the ground, or even, the advantage. There's advantage, it lasts a couple seconds for a reason, right? It's not necessarily, oh, he regained balance, good. No, because he regained balance a little bit, lost it again because of the shove still, and at that point, we lost possession and should have had a free kick, but didn't. So you have these players that start to become dishonest or whatever, because the refs aren't calling what they should, and they're not doing their job. And I do think that there are a number of players that flop, but there are a number of players that, they flop for flop's sake, but there's enough that do it because they have to, right? you're not going to get the call unless you go down. And it's a reffing issue more than a player issue, in my opinion. It really just bothers me that refs aren't able to do that. And while I'm on the refs, the Akanji red card, I see why it was a red card. And he did what he had to do to stop a counterattack. I have no issues with what he did. I have no issues, really, that he got a red card. What I have an issue with is we saw the exact same thing, to a worse extent, in the Liverpool match with Kunate on a yellow, stops a counterattack, and gets away with it. And it's funny because when this happens, I don't see the Liverpool conspiracy theorists out and talking about how, hey, City gets all these calls, we're always screwed over, blah, 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 blah. The same old bullshit that they always give. It's crickets, absolute crickets. Where are you guys? You guys care about the calls being right so much all the time and everything being done correctly and proper, and now something screws us over and there's absolute silence. Why? What are you doing? Where are you? You say you don't care about us and then continue to comment on our matches nonstop. So if that's what you're going to do, then where are you? We got screwed over on a call. You guys are all professional referees and top agents in the government, able to figure out all these conspiracies, but when something goes in your favor and not ours, you disappear. Funny how that works, isn't it? A little funny. But what are you going to do, right? It is what it is, Like I said, I don't have a problem with it being a red card. It's the consistency, and it's the whole issue of everyone's going to freak out and cry when something doesn't go their way. And I'm not even doing that in this scenario. Like I said, I think he deserved a red card. I'm just saying that when other players do it too, let's make sure it's a consistent red card across the board. And let's not make sure that these teams in red are always getting all the calls, right? Just a little thing to think about, as always. But that was our match. Obviously, we won. End of the day, all good. Went to the top of the table for 2 days. Spurs went back to the top of the table today with their match against Fulham, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong. But that match will have been yesterday when this comes out. So all in all, I think it was a good performance, right? A strong first half and a little bit of a shaky second half. And that's kind of how I felt the end of the season was last year. We'd be so strong in the second half or first half, and then we'd cruise. I don't want to go through a whole season like that. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's a little bit nerve-wracking to watch, but 3 points at the end of the day is all that matters, right? So, if it works out in the end, it works out in the end. It's just a little bit nerve-wracking to have to watch and basically hope and pray that we're going to be able to hang on. That game felt like it was a game where we're going to need a third goal. Luckily, we didn't. They didn't equalize, so all in all, it was good. Injury report for this week is De Bruyne. Only De Bruyne. He's been out and about, it looks like. From what I saw, I think he was cleared to start running again. So we're getting a little closer. I've heard maybe end of November, early December. Regardless, probably December at the latest. So when you think about it, we're maybe only a little over a month from his return. So that's good news. Back earlier than normal. Looks like he lost a little bit of weight too in the just in the videos and whatnot that I've seen. So I'm expecting him to come back and be ready. We're kind of, it feels like we're clicking. I know some people were panicking and whatnot, but I think we're good. And I think once he comes back, the biggest issue is going to be who moves to the bench and does he move to the bench? We have so many good players. It's hard to say that he should be benched, but you never know, right? He's an incredible player. It looks like he's going to sign a contract extension as well. So we'll see what happens when he comes back, but fully looking forward to him finally coming back. It's, he's a top 3 player in the world, and he's not number 3. So it'll be good to see him back with our team. And if we're already hitting a stride and clicking off wins here and there, or not here and there, clicking off wins in a row, when he comes back, it's just going to make it a lot smoother and just make us running on all cylinders. Speaking of contracts, I said that he might be extending his contract. It looks like it might finally kind of be the end for Calvin Phillips. Unfortunately, it just didn't feel. It doesn't feel like his chance is ever going to come here, and it looks like Newcastle might be looking to loan him in. I don't know if we'll loan him out or sell him, but I don't expect his time at City to really continue past January. In all honesty, I thought he might leave this summer. Even unfortunate for him, he's got a positive attitude. He seems to like it here. It's just, you want to play, and at the end of the day, that's you're a professional footballer to play, and not just sit on the bench. So I don't blame him for leaving at all if that's what he ultimately does. I appreciate his effort and his want and desire to stay and play and just be a part of our squad, but it seems like we've gotten to a point where that time has come to an end. So unfortunate. It would have been nice if he could have been the player we wanted him to be, but it looks like his time might be done, and I wish him all the best in the future if that's truly what ends up happening. So into the match preview, we have Young Boys away on Wednesday. Champions League match, 2 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. local time. Not much of a preview. I don't have a preview on Young Boys, in all honesty. My match preview is that we should win. We should be able to pick up the points, stay on top of our group, and move on into Sunday. And that's the one I'm going to preview. So we got a big one on Sunday, right? United away, 10:30 my time, Central U.S. time if you're in the U.S., and 4:30 local time. I have that written down here wrong, but 4:30 local time if you are in the UK. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. But anyway, United. Obviously, I fucking hate United. God damn. They just piss me off. They piss me off. Their fans piss me off. For me, it's a must win. Every time it's a must win, I've seen a lot shared with our 6-1 victory, and I want that again. I want it so bad. I want to go into Old Trafford and just beat the life out of them. Not obviously literally, just beat their morale down to nothing and just take them away. We scored 6 against them last year. We should have beat them the second time. We didn't. We did beat them the third time. Took 12 seconds. Just 12 seconds. And yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for penalties, they'd be shit against us the last couple of years. So, in all honesty, that's the way it is. We're a better team. They're down in 8th. We're 6 points ahead. They've lost 4 games this year, and that's 4 in the Premier League. I think they've lost both their Champions League games. So, I'm just ready to beat them. I just hate them so much, and we should win. It's a winnable match. I'd expect us to come out. The players are going to be ready. Last year, obviously, we saw Foden and Haaland both get hat tricks. I'd love that again. Throw someone else in there too. I don't care who. Ederson, for all I care. I just want us to go in there and just suck the life out of that team, because I'm just sick of them. Oh my gosh. I can't express how much I cannot stand that team and how much they piss me off. If I'm going to apologize in advance. I know none of them are listening in my apartment building unless they can hear me through the walls, but I'm going to apologize in advance to all my neighbors for the yelling and the swearing that is going to happen on Sunday morning. You're welcome, I guess, that the game is not at 6 a.m. like the last one when I was yelling and swearing in the middle of January. I was so heated when we lost that game in the middle of January. I believe it was around or below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was frustrated. I had to go outside. I kicked a ball around. There wasn't snow on the ground, but it was really, really fucking cold. And I had to go and kick a ball around. And I can't stand them. I can't stand losing to them. regardless of circumstances, and that one was bullshit. But I just, you can tell when I'm getting into stuff because I swear a lot more, and when I'm a lot more animated about it, and that's just kind of where I'm at. So it's a winnable match. We should win. I expect to be 9 points ahead come Sunday afternoon, and that's it. And, they're not in the greatest form. You could say we're not, but I disagree. If someone says that we're not in the greatest form, I think we are. So I expect 3 points, and that's what it is, plain and simple. So, like I said, we're second in league right now behind Spurs, 2 points behind. We're tied with Arsenal, haven't beat on goal differential, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure they won the league 2 weeks ago when they played us, because that's the way they acted. But, no class there either. So that's about all I got. We got a big one on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to coming on here regardless of the result, because I'm sure it'll be a great time. I'm either going to be really excited or probably really pissed off, and it should make for a very entertaining podcast regardless of the results. So whoever's listening, you're in for a treat. But beyond that, that's all I got. Another note, I will be on the Shades of Blue podcast on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time in the United States, doing their lit stream. So shout out to them for inviting me on there. Looking forward to it. Haven't been on there yet. They have plenty of guests. If you don't listen to their podcast, go give it a listen. Check it out. We all talk City here, right? We're all City fans. So not going to put down any other podcasts. Obviously, just going to, promote the good ones. They're a good group of guys. So go check them out if you haven't. Check it out on Thursday when I'm on there. And it will be live, or I believe you can listen to it after. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I have all the details, but I don't have all the details, obviously. So, like I said, shout out to them. And thank you guys for listening. I'm excited to, whenever I get to do this, I have fun with it. I enjoy it. I still fucking hate United. And that is my preview for next week. So thank you guys for listening. As always, open to any questions, comments, concerns you may have. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @CitizensFancast. Still trying to get TikTok up and running. I had really good clips that I was going to post on there 2 weeks ago, but as I said, no sound. Can't post TikTok clips if you don't have sound. You could. No one's going to watch it anyway. So go follow me. There's no videos on there yet, but follow me for when there is videos on Twitter /X @CitizensFancast. Also on Instagram. Slacking on posting on there as well. Apologize. I've been very busy, but episodes are available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, and YouTube. You can watch the videos on YouTube as well. And I'm thinking up some other stuff and some other cool things that I can do. I like doing this. I'd like to do a little bit more as well. So thank you guys for listening, and I will see you next week or Thursday if you watch me on the Shades of Blue podcast. So thank you guys, and see you next week.